So, I want to try and talk about the fact that Mario starts his 3D adventures by jumping into paintings. That's the method by which he enters into the worlds. Then Mario Sunshine, he jumps not into the picture but into the paint that that is directly kind of made to make the picture. He then in Mario Galaxy jumps into a star-shaped sort of portal thing, and goes out into space. The connection I see, for example, into in between Sunshine and Galaxy is that there is also this sort of transition from the star as just a symbol, as it is in Mario 64 and earlier, right, in the Mario NES games. I think the star is a star symbol. It doesn't really represent a literal ball of fire in the sky. But Mario Sunshine introduces the idea that what Mario's dealing with is literally a sun, a star in the sense of a sun, an orb, a celestial orb, which then kind of jumps into Galaxy, where Galaxy then sort of takes this theme further and materializes the fact that Mario is dealing in some way with celestial orbs in his adventures. That's what he's always been surrounded by. He's always been surrounded by stars. He's looking for stars, especially in the 3D Mario games, right? Stars are like the center of the adventure. In Mario 64, you're constantly revolving around stars, looking for stars. So Mario Galaxy sort of materializes that, I think, and turns the star, the planet, into literally where Mario is. Sort of makes that evident. But then Mario Odyssey does something weird, which is Mario is given a vehicle to fly from world to world. Whereas I may be wrong, but I think that in all previous 3D Mario games, you're just jumping into portals of different characteristics. Paintings paint star-shaped portal. It's all portals that take you sort of directly to this place. In Mario Odyssey, you're traveling to the place in a vehicle, in a ship. And this vehicle is represented as the hat, Mario's hat. It's sort of almost as if, right, it's a top hat. So Mario's using his hat to travel from place to place. The hat becomes the vehicle. I find that interesting somehow. It's a non-mediated travel, whereas before, you jump into the pictorial representation of Bob-omb Battlefield and enter into the literal Bob-omb Battlefield. In the next games, you get different sort of variations on that theme until Odyssey makes you fly from literal depiction to literal depiction. You're not entering a pictorial representation of the place you're going to. And what's allowing you to do that is the hat. So something is sort of growing through these games towards the hat, towards the top of the head, in a sense. Something is sort of escalating upwards towards the head and then centering all of its attention on the head. The games themselves are doing this in the fact that they are going higher and higher, right? Because from Mario 64 up till Galaxy, you have a constant theme of centering one's attention on the sky at high levels, right? Sunshine evokes the sun, which is higher up than the peak of Peach's castle. But then all of the stars in Galaxy are even higher up than the sun. So something is climbing up in space and climbing up through the body towards the head. It's climbing at these two sort of micro and macro kind of levels. Well, so I find that interesting in a sense if we go back to Mario Sunshine, because Mario Sunshine already includes somehow this theme, I think, of the head and things sprouting from the head, a crown being placed on the head that is kind of like echoing backwards the fact that Mario is about to put more emphasis on the hat as his adventures in 3D go on. And I think it does have something to do with 3D. It's specifically Mario's entry into 3D that brings about this change. I don't think that his 2D adventures had this concern somehow. At least, yeah, that's the sense I get. So I think this has something to do with light, because you first enter paintings, but then this sort of gets abstracted to the paint used for the paintings. Mario Sunshine does further abstraction because you get these synchronies between color and light that I mentioned, right? The box art shows how the rainbow, the full spectrum of the rainbow, is associated to paint. But then you also, as an example of this, get this thing where all of the level entries are paint. You're entering into rainbow paint, except for Noki Bay, which is literally a rainbow. So it has the same colors as all of the other entrances, but it shows you clearly that it's not paint, despite being in the same category of, level entry. So, in any case, it's almost as if the discrete particles that make up a painting, the paint that makes up the painting, is being associated to light. You then move up towards the galaxy, so a greater emphasis on stars as shining objects, and so on. So there is this weird progression, and as I said, it seems to go up. So you move from the bottom upwards towards the stars, towards the light, but also up towards the head. So then this results in Mario Odyssey's thing. So it feels to me that there is some way in which this is the story of going up from the ground to the sky. And in a sort of symbolic way, you could say the ground is like matter and the sky is spirit. I think these games make this association in different ways. So I think that you're moving up from the ground up to the spirit, and there is a sort of association that's being made in some way that says you should move up towards the spirit. Somehow the ground is a place that you should not stay at. You should sort of move upwards. And so there is a sort of mythological association between the ground and evil and spirit and good. Right, so the ground is this place of attachment, something, right? And the sky is like a slightly more sort of freer, not bound by specific material issues thing. And the game is sort of making, I think, this association, which again most religions make, most myths make, right? Like in Buddhism, there is also just the idea that we are very attached to the material world, to all sorts of desires pertaining to the material world, and a good thing to do would be to get unbound from those desires and unbound from attachment to the material world. So somehow that is being said. And in order to say that mythically, you have these associations where, like, the ground is evil, so it's the evil snake, the evil worm, and then the sky is good. It's this sort of angelical bird up in the sky. So that's being said at the same time. So, for example, one way in which this happens is this transition from 2D to 3D, right? I feel that the transition from 2D to 3D somehow traumatizes Mario. That's somehow what these games are about. It's almost like the games are about that transition because it's so profound somehow that the games can't stop talking about it. Or perhaps the game sort of precognitively already expected that to happen, and so maybe from the beginning, and obviously this is pure speculation, but maybe from the beginning Mario was expecting to enter into that shift of dimension. And so what I'm talking about is this switch from 2D to 3D is like, in a sense, a gateway that Mario enters through. He enters from one world to the other. And after all, like, he's the jump man, right? So his nature is, I think, to jump from one place to the other, to ascend up to higher and higher places dimensionally. So I feel, for example, that even though I haven't explored them enough, the Paper Mario games would be a good example of this.